I'll be honest, I knew very little about St. Francis and the Capuchin friars, and I did not expect to find myself here with the Capuchins, actually. When I was 16, straight out of high school, working at the parish, I was working in the sacristy, and we had a Capuchin coming in to celebrate the weekend mass and hear the confessions on Saturday. He had a really faded brown, raggedy habit with a pretty beat-up hood, and I thought to myself, I am not putting that habit on. And thought, I really don't think that's the community for me to discern. Well, I think God had the bigger laugh here because I like to go to confession every 2 weeks, and that was a practice I've always had. So I went to confession with this friar because it had been about 2 weeks. And there was a really profound experience of the love of Jesus through that friar in the sacrament of confession. I went to confession with several other friars throughout the year, and there's always an encounter with Jesus every time I went to confession with a friar. So as soon as I turned 18, I decided to enter the order. As I went through the formation process, I got to know more about St. Francis of Assisi and really was just awestruck of his way of loving Jesus and his style of prayer. The aspect of Jesus as his brother was really one of the things that spoke to me as a Capuchin postulant, a novice, and in temporary profession. I forgot those things a little bit, so I had left the community. I got dispensation from my vows. Throughout that whole process was working outside. People kept asking me about my life as a friar, so I would share a lot of the good memories that I had with the brothers, and that led me to remember more and more about St. Francis of Assisi. So I picked up a book on the lives of the Capuchin saints. The one I picked up was Leopold of Manditch, which is Padre Pio's contemporary. As soon as I read this book, that same encounter with Jesus in the life of St. Leopold told me straight up, you need to go back to the Capuchin friars. I ran back to the provincial, had a meeting with him, opened my heart up and just said, I think the Lord is leading me back. So write a letter to Rome, because since I had made vows, left, I have to request permission to re-enter the community, not just by the provincial, but through Rome. And I wrote a letter to Rome expecting I'd have to wait another 2-3 years before I re-entered the community. So I had plans to continue working in the gym, personal trainer, and had a position ready. Father Christopher calls me back and said, Rome is allowing you to enter the community this fall, so we want you back in 3 weeks. And I go, oh my gosh, the doors swung wide open, and I just thought, the Lord really does want me here. And I was just very grateful to have that gift of the Capuchin vocation again. There was something about Francis of Assisi that really just resonated with my heart, his spirituality, and living out the gospel, and I could say wholeheartedly, this is where I'm going to thrive. And from that, I hope not only to participate in the works of salvation, but also invite others to participate in the works of salvation, beginning first and foremost with the cross, and then coming from that, the resurrection.